Good evening. I am the narrator, and welcome to my parlor. Tonight's story is The Excursion. The sign seemed long abandoned. Its writing was in letters I had never seen. I knew I was lost. It told me that, if nothing else. Beyond it was a dirt road, flanked by seemingly endless gray fields. Nothing had grown there in years. Large shadows loomed ahead of what I couldn't guess. The sky grimaced above. I went forth, having no reason to turn back. As I went, I saw the shadows were those of buildings, earthen structures, abandoned as the sign. They may have once had a purpose, but clearly had none now. The earth was rising to reclaim them with full cooperation. I gazed through their doorways, into their windows. No one gazed back. In time, I heard a sound, quiet, distant. It grew louder, clearer, its source neared. I heard it wasn't one sound, but a number, a song of sorts. Its melody was simple. A building appeared on the roadside, a shack, in the same condition as those before. I walked forth and paused beside it. There I saw the field descended into a valley. At its bottom stood a row of 4 figures. They were playing the song. Their clothes were simple, without color or style, solid, without patterns. The fabric was coarse and practical. Their instruments were wooden. Though I couldn't see them in detail, they sounded crudely made. Still, they were in tune. Their song was in key. It was the kind you would turn off, though would listen to if you couldn't. There was no audience to see or hear them, no benches or chairs where one could gather. There may have been once, but once was long before. In the center stood a man who seemed their leader. I peered and saw his face, saw the creases left by years of thankless toil. At first, nothing kept my interest, but as I watched, my eyes fell on a girl. She was just about grown, the smallest, on the very end, and playing the smallest instrument. It was the quietest. She differed from the others. Her face was smoother. Her hair, eyes, and skin were darker. Her bones were thinner and frailer. She was one of them, but wasn't. They continued for a while, then gradually ceased and began to look afraid. Something had begun, or soon would. The man spoke quickly, in a tongue unknown to me. They heeded him and turned to go. The girl was the last to. It seemed to require explanation on his part. I watched them. Near them stood a row of shabby hovels. Their windows were dark and empty. They hastened to the nearest. The man opened and closed the door behind them, and a light like a dying candle shone in its window. Again, the girl was last, trailing behind the others. I turned and left. The sky darkened further. As I passed the same buildings, I again heard a sound. It, too, was quiet, distant. As I listened, it grew louder, clearer. It became a series, the pitter-patter of small feet. I paused. I didn't know whose and why they were moving as they were. I turned and gazed through the windows of the building beside me. Therein was a small figure. It peered around, studying its surroundings. What was it seeking and why? If I stared, I could see it clearly. It was the girl, but different. She was wearing a black dress that could have been pretty had it been cleaned and ironed. She vanished through a door, or maybe simply a hole across the room. Fearing I had been seen, I began to move. As I left the window, I looked and saw her again, doing the same on a patch of dead grass, peering up and down a leafless tree. From there, I followed her, moved slowly, quietly, at a distance. She continued, entranced by our environs, pausing and gazing for minutes at a time. At last, she came to a wooden structure, with no door nor floor rising from the earth. It was farther, both from the main path and the other buildings, from the hovel I assumed she called home. She walked inside and paused in the center of the room. It was empty. She stared blankly at what seemed nothing. I watched from its side window. Its glass was cracked in fog. Its sill was dirty. A shaft of bright light shone upon her. I couldn't see its source, if it even had one. Beneath it I saw her, in greater detail than before, porcelain, delicate. To her, this place differed from the others. It seemed to her familiar. For the first time, her expression changed from glass to a smile. Her hair flew in the air and began to move as if on its own. It danced, though there was no wind. Its style changed, though there was no one to style it. First it was flat on her head and eyes. Then it flowed long and straight, then curled and shot forth, and so forth. Her shawl flew to its sides and began to move again, as if on its own. Still, there was no wind. Its cut and style changed even with no tailor present. First it was drab, hanging loosely over her thin frame. Then it lengthened and shortened, morphed into pants and back again. Shapes and patterns, at first simple and then elaborate, came and went. My eyes couldn't keep pace even if they tried. The show intensified. Colors changed from earth tones, cycling through every hue of the rainbow, every combination thereof. They were the only colors in these parts. As she danced, she seemed to lose and find herself, only to lose herself again. She didn't notice. She didn't care. We were both entranced. My hesitation faded. I stepped forth. Amidst her display, she froze and gazed at me. Clearly she had never seen me before, nor anyone like me. She smiled, and I smiled back.